conversation. So, first of all, before I go do anything, I gotta thank my wife for really helping me put this together. This is an area of interest for both of us, Blue Zones. We're trying to figure out how to wear out the mailman with the Social Security check when we reach an age of Social Security. So our plan was to learn about Blue Zones. Um, my academic discipline is interests are not specific to Blue Zones. Joan mentioned my credentials. So because of our interest in a healthy lifestyle, we became interested in Blue Zones. So by no means am I an expert on this. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express, but I'm gonna try to share some nuggets of wisdom that we've learned in um, basically learning about Blue Zones with you. So Blue Zones is the title, lifestyle characteristics for longevity. And some of y'all have done a really good job, as I could tell by your wisdom, being part of this church. So discovering Blue Zones. So in 2004, Dan Buettner teamed up with National Geographic and the National Geographic Institute of Aging and the world's best longevity researchers to identify pockets around the world where people lived measurably better and longer. So when they did that research, they discovered 5 areas and they dubbed them Blue Zones, and found that people there reached the age of 100 at a rate that was 10 times greater than the United States. And they also had lower rates of chronic disease. So these Blue Zones were basically all over the world, and they were identified in specific areas. So in the United States, we had one, Loma Linda, California. Nicoya, Costa Rica was in Central America. Then we had Sardinia, Italy, Ikaria, Greece, and Okinawa, Japan. These Blue Zones, where the scientists went to, they were able to pinpoint lifestyle characteristics that may be able to explain the longevity that they discovered of the populations in those areas. They found that through the Blue Zones, communities were located in vastly different parts of the world. The residents shared 9 specific traits that led to longer, healthier, and happier lifestyles. And these traits were identified as the Power 9. So the traits, oops, my screen froze again, hold on. Okay, the traits included moving naturally, having purpose, downshift daily, having belonging, putting family first, eat to 80% full, find your tribe, drink wine in moderation and with friends, and eat mostly plants. And I'm gonna talk about these in more detail next. So the first trait, moving naturally, when the scientists looked at moving naturally, they noticed that the world's longest living people didn't pump iron, they didn't run marathons or join gyms. Instead, they lived in environments that constantly nudged them into moving without thinking about it. They grew gardens and didn't have mechanical conveniences such as vacuum cleaners for house and mowers for yard work. And as a result, people lived better and longer in places that made it easier to move naturally. I am not sure why my case, oops. The second trait was to live with purpose. And living with purpose is based on this question: why do I wake up in the morning? So Blue Zone research showed that having a clear sense of purpose can help people live up to 7 years longer than they otherwise might. In the original Blue Zone areas, residents are known to place special emphasis on their reasoning for being. So knowing a sense of purpose is worth up to 7 years of an extra life expectancy. The third one was downshift. Even people in Blue Zones areas experience stress. So stress led to chronic inflammation associated with even more age-related disease. For example, I was sharing some of you guys, my issue with my dog. My knee was hurting a lot extra this morning. So the world's longest lived people what the world's longest people have that many don't have are routines that shed stress. Naps, walking, meditation, prayer. And we'll talk about it more later as we look specifically at these 5 blue zone areas. Another one, which I really need to abide to, is the 80% rule. People in the blue zone are known to stop eating when their stomachs are 80% full. 20% of the gap between not being hungry and feeling full could be the difference between losing or gaining weight. And when you maintain a low weight, as you know, it correlates with a better health. Even if you're overweight, even if you decrease your weight by 10%, it has a significant impact on health improvement. So people in the blue zone regions eat the smallest meals in the late afternoon and early evening, and they don't eat the rest of the day. So once they're done eating their evening meal, they stop eating. The plant slant is the next trait. People in blue zones tend to eat more whole food plant-based diets. So that includes beans such as fava, black, soy, lentils, and they're all the cornerstone of a centenarian diet. They only eat meat about 5 times a month, and even when they do eat meat, the serving size is 3 to 4 ounces, about the size of a pack of cards. I know what you're thinking. We got work to do. Wine at 5 was the next trait. People in the original blue zones, except the Adventists in Loma Linda, drank alcohol moderately. They had a healthy relationship with alcohol and generally drank 1 to 2 glasses per wine daily. And the key thing was with friends or with food. Belonging. They all had a sense of belonging that supported their individual well-being and behaviors connected with longevity in the original blue zones. All but 5 of the 263 centenarians interviewed by the Blue Zone researchers belonged to some faith-based community. The denomination that they were part of didn't matter. The Blue Zone's research showed that attending faith-based services 4 times per month will add 4 to 14 years to your life expectancy. So keep coming to KUUF once a week. They put family first. Successful centenarians in the blue zone put their family first. It meant keeping up with aging parents and grandparents nearby or in the home. It lowered disease and mortality rates for the children in the home. They committed to life partners, which added up to 3 years to their life expectancy, and they invested in their children with time and love. So adolescents ate dinner with their families, and a report by the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse points out that teens who eat dinner with their families more than 3 times a week are less likely to do poor in school and are 15% less likely to become obese. And finally, the 9th characteristic was the right tribe. The world's longest living people chose or were born into social circles that supported healthy behaviors. So friends provided more than good times, memories, and companionship. They also shared healthy habits and traits with one another. So a person whose 3 closest friends are overweight is twice as likely to be overweight. On the positive side, people are twice as likely to succeed at new behavior if they do them with a buddy. And here's some interesting research from the Framingham study shows that smoking, obesity, and happiness, and even loneliness are contagious. So the social networks of long-lived people have favorably shaped their health behaviors. So now we're going to look at where these blue zones actually exist and the characteristics of the people who live in those blue zones. So the first one we're going to talk about is Okaria, Greece. Residents here are some of their characteristics: live up to 8 years longer than the average American, have half the rate of heart disease and almost no dementia. 1 in 3 make it into their 90s. A combination of factors explain it, including geography, culture, diet, lifestyle, and outlook. They enjoy red wine, strong red wine for that, late night domino games, and a relaxed pace of life that ignores clocks. They also have clean air, warm breezes, and rugged terrain that draws them into the outdoor active lifestyle. The longest living Icarians tend to be people living in the island's highland. They exercise mindlessly by just gardening, walking to their neighbor's house, and doing their own yard work. The lesson to us: engineer more mindless movement into your life. They take naps. Uh, Naps take a cue from the Icarians and take mid-afternoon break. So people who take naps regularly have up to 35% lower chances of dying from heart disease. And researchers think it may be because napping lowers stress hormones or the rest arrest the heart. Icarians also foster social connections, which have been shown to benefit overall health and longevity. So get out there and make some plans. That's the tip. Some other interesting characteristic of Icarians: they eat a variety of a variation of Mediterranean diet. Some of you have heard of the Mediterranean diet. Lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, potatoes, and olive oil. Icarians use grass-fed goat milk rather than cow's milk. They believe it, but researchers believe it provides potassium and stress-relieving hormones, tryptophans. The second blue zone I'm going to talk to you about is Okinawa, Japan. It's one of the most southern islands in the Japan island chain. They've been historically known for longevity. It was once called the land of the immortals. Okinawans have less cancer, heart disease, and dementia than Americans. Women there live longer than any women on the planet. Perhaps their greatest secret is a strong dedication to friends and family. They maintain a powerful social network called Moai, a lifelong circle of friends that supports people well into their old age. They rely on a plant-based diet. Older Okinawans have eaten a plant-based diet most of their life. Their meals usually include sweet potatoes, stir-fried veggies, tofu, and are high in nutrients and low in calories. I think I skipped a slide here. Let me go back. My computer's acting funny. I apologize for that. Okinawans also have a strong sense of purpose in life, a driving force that Japanese call ikigai. Older Okinawans can readily articulate the reasons they get up in the morning. They have a purpose imbued in lives, giving them clear roles of responsibility and feelings of being needed well into their hundreds. Older Okinawans are active walkers and gardeners. Okinawan households have very little furniture. Residents take meals and relax sitting on tatami mats on the floor. So here's something interesting. The fact that old people get up and down off the floor several dozen times daily builds lower body strength and balance, which helps protect against dangerous falls. So get rid of your furniture. That's the advice. No more Ethan Allen. So I talked about relying on a plant-based diet, and I'm going to skip to the next bullet. Okinawa's diet is rich in food made with soy, like tofu and miso soup. Flavonoids in tofu may help protect the heart and guard against breast cancer. Fermented soy foods contributed to a healthy intestinal ecology and offer even better nutritional benefits. So the next thing I want to talk about is the hara hachi bu. Okinawans recite this phrase before every meal. It reminds them to eat up to 80% full instead of stuffing themselves. Did it again. The next blue zone is Loma Linda, California, here in the United States. The Seventh-day Adventist Church, hold on one second. I'm having problems with my screen, y'all. Give me a second. Try something else. Okay. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in the sunny pocket of Southern California was founded in 1840s. The church flourished through the 20th century, and so did its members who view health as a central part to their faith. Today, there's a community about 9,000 Adventists in Loma Linda, and they're the core of America's Blue Zone region. They live as much as a decade longer than the rest of us, and much of their longevity can be attributed to vegetarianism and regular exercise. One thing to note is that Adventists don't smoke or drink alcohol. That's the one thing they have that's different from the other four blue zones. Other characteristics of their lifestyle include a weekly break from the rigors of daily life, so the 24-hour Sabbath. They honor to provide a time of focus on family, God, camaraderie, and nature. Adventists claim this relieves their stress, strengthens their social networks, and provides consistent exercise. Adventists tend to spend time with lots of other Adventists. They find well-being by sharing each other's values and supporting each other's habits. They also consume nuts grown regularly in the area, at least 5 times a week. They have, therefore, about half the risk of heart disease and live up to 2 years longer than those who don't. At least 4 major studies have confirmed that eating nuts has an impact on healthy life and expectancy. Like many faiths, Seventh-day Adventist Church encourages and provides opportunities for its members to volunteer. People in Loma Linda stay active, find sense of purpose, and stave off depression by focusing on helping others. Most Adventists follow a vegetarian diet. Research shows that consuming fruits and vegetables and whole grains seem to be protective against a wide variety of cancers. For those who prefer to eat meat, Adventists recommend small portions served as a side dish rather than a main meal. Another theme they have is eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. American nutritionist Adele Davis is said to have recommended an attitude also has recommended the attitudes also reflected in Adventist practices. So a light dinner early in the evening, avoid flooding the body with calories during the inactive periods of the day. It seems to promote better sleep and a lower BMI. The next blue zone I'm going to talk about is Sardinia, Italy. This is one of my favorite ones that I read about. It's home to the greatest concentration of male centurions in the world. That's not the only reason why I'm interested. I hope to be a centurion, but who knows? It was the first blue zone identified. So those who live there are 10 more times. There's 10 more times centurions per capita in the United States. Geographically and culturally, it's isolated, which led to Sardinians keeping a very traditional and healthy lifestyle. Sardinians still hunt, fish, and harvest food they eat. They remain close with friends and family throughout their lives. They laugh and drink wine together. I like to laugh, so certainly that's one of the reasons why I was attracted to this particular blue zone. The classic Sardinian diet consists of whole grain bread, beans, gardens, vegetables, and fruits. Sardinians also traditionally eat pecoroni cheese, made from grass-fed sheep, whose cheese is high in omega-3 fatty acids. Meats are largely reserved for Sunday and special occasions. So again, they don't eat a lot of meat. The chart shows a breakdown of their diet consistently. So primarily sheep and goat milk is one of the things that stands out. Sardinians also celebrate their elders. Grandparents can provide love, childcare, and financial help, wisdom, and expectation and motivation to perpetuate traditions and push children to succeed in their lives. This may all add up to a healthier, better adjusted and longer-lived children. It may give the overall population a life expectancy bump. They put family first. Sardinia's strong family values help assure that every member of the family is cared for. People who live in strong, healthy families suffer lower rates of depression, suicide, and stress. They laugh with friends. Men in the Blue Zone region are famous for sardonic sense of humor. That's what it's called. They gather in the streets each afternoon to laugh with and at each other. Laughter reduces stress, which can lower one's risk of cardiovascular disease. They walk 5 miles a day, as Sardinian shepherds do provide cardiovascular benefit you might expect. It also has a positive effect on muscle and bone metabolism with the joint pounding, without the joint pounding of running marathons or triathlons. They drink wine moderately. Okinawa wine has 2 or 3 times the level of artery scrubbing flavonoids as other wines. Moderate wine consumption may help the lower levels of stress among men. They drink goat milk. A glass of goat milk contains components that might help protect against inflammatory diseases of aging, such as heart disease and Alzheimer's. The last blue zone I'm going to talk to you about is Nicoya, Costa Rica, a Latin American blue zone with residents twice as likely as Americans to reach the healthy age of 90. They have Plan de Vida, a reason to live, which propels a positive outlook amongst elders and helps keep them active. Like most successful sanitarians, they have a strong sense of purpose. They feel needed and want to contribute to a greater good. Nicoyan centenarians tend to live with their families and children or grandchildren and provide support and a sense of purpose and belonging. They maintain social networks. Nicoyan centenarians get frequent visits from neighbors. They know how to listen, laugh, and appreciate what they have. Nicoyans eat light dinner in the evening. For most of their lives, Nicoyan centenarians eat traditional Mesoamerican diet, highlighted with the 3 sisters of agriculture, and that's squash, corn, and beans. They drink hard water. Nicoyan water has the country's highest calcium content, and that might perhaps explain the lower rates of heart disease, as well as a stronger bone and fewer hip fractures. Centenarians seem to have enjoyed physical work all their lives. They find joy in everyday physical chores. Modern Nicoyan roots to the indigenous Chorotega and their traditions have enabled them to remain relatively free of stress, including spiritual and the creation of pottery. Sorry. So let's bring it back home. The traits that are common to the blue zones are moving naturally, having purpose, downshift daily, belong, putting your family first, eating up to 80% full, finding your tribe, drinking wine in moderation and with friends, and eat mostly plants are the characteristics of the healthy lifestyle that is consistent among these blue zones. There's several books actually on the blue zones. The one by Dan Buettner, 9 Lessons for Living Longer from the people who's lived the longest. And then there's additional resources that are included there for your convenience. I think I'll pause there, Joan, to see if there's any questions that came up. Unfortunately, Dan Buettner isn't here.